Hey, Abby.
Hi, Dean.
Okay, Abby. So, tell people a little bit about you,
Okay.
and then I have a question about a hypothetical scenario.
Okay. So I'm Abby Mundell. I'm a fractional CMO like everyone else on this podcast.
Mhm.
I work with small to medium sized businesses, predominantly startups or companies more in the growth phase, not startup, but it has to be people who kind of understand marketing and have some budget. Really, most of my clients are ones that lack really a marketing strategy and need a little help with what that can be. I do both full marketing FCMO work, but I also do project work for clients, especially those who have never used an FCMO and kind of want to figure out, is this the right thing for me to do? My services include anywhere from launching new services, building executable strategies, and then helping to make sure that the team is executing upon the strategies that we've built together. I also do a lot of advisory and coaching, both for leadership on the team as well as the team members themselves. And I also offer some support to EOS clients or companies that are doing EOS services and helping them craft their marketing departments effectively. Really, companies that need a high level experience and just can't afford to do it with a full FCMO.
Yeah.
And I specialize in clients that have strong branding and creative or need strong branding and creative and really have a story to tell. That's my big thing. I'm a big storyteller. And listen, every company has a story, every company needs a brand. But let's be honest, some of them are more powerful than others. And the ones that
Yeah.
are more powerful and need help getting it across, those are the ones that I work with mostly.
Okay, so here's a hypothetical then.
Okay.
EOS, by the way, Entrepreneur Operating System,
Yes, it is.
and
I apologize.
based on that, no, that's okay. It's not a marketing term, and I mean, I really enjoyed it's like Traction, right? Traction's the book that it's
It's
based
one of
on.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I do a lot of work with various EOS companies, integrators, and that kind of stuff.
Well, great. We
And
should chat after this too. And I'll give you some ideas of what I do with there because I have a very specific service that's offered to EOS clients.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I've worked for two of I think the two most famous EOS integrator companies to help
That's
them like
awesome.
with their messaging. Okay, so here's a hypothetical. So you've just signed a 1 year agreement, a 1 year engagement. The customer's brand new. Today's day one, and there's been some discussions leading up, but today's the real day one. Okay, uh, what problems do you normally see when you start with a new client, and if you don't see them, you're like, these problems are here somewhere. The company just doesn't know that they're here yet, and then you go and you start like thinking about how you're going to solve them.
The problems that I typically see with new engagements is that the leadership, because of the size businesses I work in and
Right.
because they're passionate about their story, typically the leadership, CEOs, owner, president, whatever you want to call it, is overly engaged and afraid to give up any kind of control.
Mm.
And what happens is that that individual has so many other things on their plate that they're not able to give all of their best abilities to all of it. And so they're not doing a great job at any of it. And don't get me wrong, certainly there's parts that they might be doing a very good job on, but typically marketing is one of the ones that they're a little bit hesitant to give up on because you're talking about their story. It's like
Yeah.
selling their baby, right?
Yeah.
In many ways. The biggest problem I see is that they're afraid to give up any kind of control. And I would never want a client to give up full control, but they have to have enough trust and faith in me to be able to take care of their baby on a regular basis, like a really good full-time nanny, if you
Yeah.
will. And that's the biggest challenge that I see. Another big challenge that I have is that they don't truly understand what marketing means and that they really don't understand how it infiltrates the entire company. So in my first 90 days with any engagement, even if I'm doing a smaller project for someone, I spend a ton of time getting to know every single person on their team, especially their leadership, but even if they have marketing folks, if they have like a manager of HR, all those things, and talking to them and learning about them. Because not only do I want to ask some of them the same questions and see how they answer them differently, but I also want to see how much they understand the importance of marketing being a part of everything that they do and the way they even just talk to each other. It
Right.
all has to do with marketing. It's not just external.
Okay, so let's stay inside the hypothetical then.
Okay.
Okay, new client. I'm the CEO of the client company for the next couple questions.
Okay.
And we're sitting down, we're getting a cup of coffee in like the crappy little break room that they have, right? But they have an espresso, so it's like fancy.
There you go.
All right. And we're at this little rickety table, and I say to you, hey, so like you've worked with lots of CEOs. You're the first CMO that I've ever worked with. And so I'm kind of rely on you to tell me, like, and be honest. What should I be doing to make you successful, and what should I stop doing because it would keep you from being successful?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the number one thing that they should be doing to help me be successful is ensure that everyone else on the team understands why I'm there and is
Hmm.
on board with it, and is willing to work with me and help me and give me the answers I need and connect with me when I need to connect with them. And that's the number one thing, because if you don't have buy-in from your top level leaders and your average marketing team members, then it's almost impossible to be a fractional CMO. We aren't there full time. We're not there all the time to be able to talk with people, engage with them. And quite frankly, part of building a team is getting to know people on a personal basis. How's your weekend? What did how's
Hmm.
your child? Da, 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 da. As a fractional CMO who's not in the office on a regular basis, you don't have those opportunities. And so they need to have some trust and faith. The CEO can help build that and put me in a position where truly I am considered a member of that leadership team. That's critically important.
And it sounds
The
like,
other,
yeah,
yeah, go
from the
ahead.
previous answer, it sounded like the what not to do is stop trying to be in charge of marketing.
Yeah, but really it's more so, yes, stop being in charge of marketing. However, also, again, it's that buy-in. Get
Hmm.
everyone who I'm working with to understand why I'm there. One thing that fractional CMOs come up against a lot is that some people think of us as being consultants. So we're there to do a project, this little thing, get it done, and
Right.
then move on. But a fractional CMO is literally just a CMO for your company who works part-time. You wouldn't have a regular CMO in your company be someone that no one really worked with or talked to and finished their project and moved on, because they
Yeah.
work there full-time. And I work with a company. I choose companies that I actually have some level of a passion and feelings for, that make me really want to help them. And I need that in turn. I will say I don't really have a big a problem with this, because I'm pretty good at engaging with people and listening and all that stuff. But it's really important to the CEO to understand. The other thing they can do to help me set up for success is understand marketing enough that they've allocated budget to execution. That's a
Right.
big challenge that when you come into small, medium-sized businesses, is that they want to hire a fractional CMO. And typically this conversation obviously happens when I've not before I've even engaged with them. But to make sure that they understand, you can hire me. That's great. I would love it. We'll have tremendous success together. But you have to have enough money to execute upon the plan. And
Yeah.
I'm not your execution person. I'm going to guide your team, find your team, etc. But you have to have enough money to invest in your own marketing outside of just my role. That's a tough one for smaller businesses.
Yeah. Um, okay. So how about this then? Last question where I'm the CEO.
CEO.
Okay. So I'm looking at this like marketing team that's in place, one to X number of people, right? And, there's been some supervision. There's even been maybe at some point, or is right now, like management of that group, but there's
Mm-hmm.
been no leadership
Mm-hmm.
position for that group, right? So I'm looking at that team today. I'm thinking about that team 12 months from now when you cycle out, or um, how's that team going to be different at the end of 12 months compared to where they are today?
Well, a couple of different ways the team will be different compared to where they are today. One is, my favorite thing to do as a fractional CMO is work with the marketing team members, and not just the ones in-house, but also the outside
Hmm.
vendors, whether it's an agency, whoever's executing. I love working with those people and bringing them together. The way that they're going to be different is, my goal by the end of the engagement, whether it's 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is to have everyone who's working on the tactics and the execution of the plan know a lot more about why they're doing it than just the thing that they've been assigned to do. To me, it's
Hmm.
all about, what is the reason that you're doing this thing that you're doing, and how does it contribute to us accomplishing our goals? I've worked, in my history, I've worked with a lot of agencies. I'm part owner of an agency. I get it. And you find a lot of the people there are all about, what do I have to get done today to check the boxes? And in the world of marketing, you need people to execute, but they need to know why they're doing the things that they're doing and how it
Right.
contributes. And I love helping build up team members, because they know that what they're doing makes a difference. And I think that's critically important. So really, that's a big professional development, helping develop them,
Yeah.
helping the team members feel like they're really good at their job so that they can grow. And quite frankly, I don't want people to grow out of the company, but they bring more to the table, so much so if they feel fully professionally developed. And that's one of the
Yeah.
things that I want to do, and get them really strongly working together, making them feel like they're part of the company. The other thing that the CEO is going to see with me on board is, and I work with the team members so that they all understand and trust me and they feel safe. However, quite frankly, I'm also going to evaluate if they're the right people for the team. So I'm not going to come in and have people on the marketing team that I do not think are effective, are not on board with what we're doing, do not understand the vision, the mission, et cetera, of the organization. If they're not, I'm going to make those recommendations. I'm going to remove them from the team, and I'm going to find people to replace them with who are the right people for the team. I don't generally tell the team that because that's a little scary, but the CEO knows my job is to make sure that you have the right team in place. And I'm not going to spend 12 months trying to make your current team be the right team. We've got A and B players. And if they're not A players, we get the A players on board.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of marketing people looking for work right now. So there's lots of
And there's a lot of good ones. There's also a lot of really shitty ones. So we've got to be able to evaluate who's the right fit. And some are really good at their job at certain companies and some are not. And I think it's really a part of my job is to get that team where it needs to be. So in 12 months, I could walk away from this company and this team is executing with all the right members on board.
Okay. So next question, super easy. Fill in the blank. Many clients just don't understand
marketing. Okay. Great question. Many clients just don't understand the importance of long-term strategy and how that makes their lives so much easier. And I say that because every company has goals, but the biggest challenge I find in most companies is that they kind of hunt and peck their marketing initiatives and they don't strategically approach it. And if you don't have a strategy, and because often they're looking for the quick win, we will absolutely do quick wins when we work together. But the idea of having a longer term strategy is so everyone knows what they're doing and why, and you see the progressive growth of the organization. You see it getting better. You see the sales improving and not just hitting a plateau and then dropping, then going up and dropping. And that's a huge problem. So I think many companies don't really understand the absolute importance of a truly effective strategy and then having that strategy constantly be followed. Sure, it's fluid. We can adjust it if we need for new things, but the strategy at the high level needs to be the same and it stays and everyone follows it and everyone gets it, including the CEO. And that's a tough one.
Yeah. Okay, so imagine this. You've known a lot of people in marketing over your career, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've known other CMO level folks. So someone says, hey, Abby, I've decided, I decided last month and it's now official. I'm out on my own. I'm a fractional CMO. Okay. So fill in the blank on this one. New fractional CMOs need to understand what about being a fractional CMO?
That this job is not about working your own hours and making tons of money.
Yeah.
That's just not how it works. You're going to work more hours than you ever did. And I'm not talking about the 9 to 5 hours. I'm talking about your brain does not shut off when you're working at this job. It can't, because when you're focused on one client, you still need brain space for the other clients. And in one day, you don't just shut down on one client. You're always thinking about all of them. The other thing that new fractionals really need to understand is if you are not financially stable, don't do this, because there is no way to guarantee the income coming in. And when an engagement ends, you're out there getting your new clients. If you have a great referral system, oh, God bless you. That's amazing. However, you still have to constantly be going out and getting new clients. The other thing is this is the opposite of the 9 to 5 job. So anyone who decides they're going to go out and be a fractional, when they schedule a vacation with their family, make sure you actually take it and shut down, because the rest of the time you're on all the time. You have to be, But I will also say that it's a really great job. Like, I love it. And I listen to your podcasts all the time, Dean, for this. And obviously preparing for today, I listened to quite a few of them. And it is challenging to do this. Absolutely. However, it's so incredibly rewarding to do it as well. New fractionals, one of the biggest things I hear from people who want to go into this industry is that they'll say, oh, I've been doing this for 10 years. And certainly there are people who are qualified after 10 years, but they'll say I've been doing this for 10 years and I was a social media manager and I think I'm ready to take on fractional CMO work. You have to have experience in all things marketing and operations and leadership and quite frankly, financials and accounting and all that. You have to understand all of those things to do this job. And if you have not worked in leadership positions, high level, if you have not really done operations level positions or work that really focuses on operations, you're probably not ready to be a fractional.
Yeah. Just
you could be a marketing consultant.
Chef doesn't mean that they know how to start and run a restaurant.
Exactly. That's the thing. You could
Yeah.
be a marketing consultant for sure. That you could definitely go out and offer your services and be a vendor, a freelancer, a consultant. But a fractional CMO gets engaged in every single level of the organization. And often you do find yourself just dealing with, leadership, operations, just being a sounding board for a CEO who doesn't know who else to talk to, but knows you might have experience in this thing. And you have to be open to that.
Okay.
Plus
So,
that's what makes it fun.
well, all right. A new hypothetical.
Yeah.
Your best friend comes to you and says, "Hey, Abby, um, my kid just started their first ever full time job. Right? They're the most junior person in a marketing team,
Hmm.
and I don't know exactly what you do. I googled it, and so it's something about being in charge of marketing, but not full time. I get it, right? Your friend is more concerned about the rest of your life and not necessarily your career. So, well, I want to. If you were going to like pass along a piece of advice to my kid who's just at the beginning of what could be like a 25, 30-year career in marketing starting in 2025,
Hmm.
what would you say? What can I tell that kid to help him be successful or her be successful or they
I
be?
would tell that kid to absorb everything that they have going on around them, listen and absorb and think about how it impacts. Always understand why they're doing what they're doing and how it contributes to the end goal. And if they don't know what the goal is or why they've been asked to do this thing or what their purpose is, talk to people and ask them those questions. Marketing has so many different components of
Yeah.
it. There's so many things that have to go into it. And there's no way a 20, 21-year-old young professional could have understood all those things. So you want to learn all of them. Like the tricky part about that is you have to be pretty good at the different things you do. So, well, a lot of people who answer this question say, sit on every meeting and do this
Yeah.
and do that. Those are great answers, except it's not the 20-year-old kid is probably not going to be asked or welcome to every meeting.
Yeah.
So become really good at the things that you are supposed to do and you're asked to do. Keep your ears open, listen for other things, try to get other opportunities to try other things. But once you become an expert at one thing, you're looked at as someone who could try other things very quickly and that you could bring more on. So my big thing is probably young 20-year-old Abby, don't try to be all things to all people and learn everything all at once. Take the time to really understand what you're doing and why, and then become an expert and then move on to the next thing.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question. It's off book,
I love
but
it.
it's very 2025 applicable. Um, let's recharacterize the question a little bit. Hey, I'm 24-year-old Abby. I'm
Okay.
2 years into my first full time job on a marketing team. I'm looking at the world today. What should I be doing to make sure I don't get laid off? Or at least no one can be sure that they're not going to get laid
Right.
off. But how can I like minimize the chance of that happening for me?
Take every single opportunity you possibly can to develop yourself and your skills, and
Yeah.
not just in marketing, but learn about the industry, learn about the industry you're working in, learn about the marketing industry, subscribe to the newsletters, read them, go online, look on social media channels, engage with things, just get as involved as you possibly can so that when you are back at the office and there's conversations happening, you can contribute thoughtfully and effectively so that people then say, wow, this is a person who may be young, but they're eager to learn and know more, and we can capitalize on their skills and have them grow with this company. I think a lot of young marketers end up being let go at 2025, and the concern is obviously financials, all the things. But
Yeah.
if you're someone who makes yourself invaluable because you're so open to learning and trying and doing new things, because you keep yourself constantly educated, do it. I have worked with a lot of young professionals, and at the end of the day, come 5 p.m., they want to shut down.
Yeah.
And my thing is, if you want to shut down at 5 p.m., you're probably in the wrong industry. If you want to know how much, how many hours that you're getting paid at this company to do professional development, then you're approaching it wrong. You should be doing that at
Yeah.
every time you can. Saturday afternoon, there's a webinar, whatever, go and do it. Don't just take time off the regular schedule to say, I have to do professional development now.
Yeah. I've never asked anyone that question, and it occurs
Did
to
I
me.
answer it well?
I thought so. Um,
Okay.
there are lots of ways to answer that question, and something occurred to me. Something you said sparked an idea of
Okay.
what I would have said if anyone had asked me that question. And I said strictly along the ideas if you want to keep working for the same company, to understand that, especially if the company is big enough, there are marketing jobs or positions or marketing adjacent positions that are not in the marketing group. right? In a lot of
Yes.
companies, product marketing is not part of marketing. In some companies, there are marketing adjacent or related jobs in the sales organization.
Yep.
And if you really thought that marketing was about to be, like trimmed or right sized or whatever, right? Chances are, if you knew people in product marketing, or you've, taken the opportunity up until now to meet the people in product marketing, you've met the people in sales, there might be something for you where you just do a
Mhm.
lateral move instead of moving out of the company. So all of marketing is so big and varied that it literally isn't even contained inside the marketing team at many companies.
Dean, I love that you said that because it's such a good point. And here's the other thing. If I'm talking to 22 to 24-year-old me, or really
Yeah.
any 22 to 24-year-old that I know, and they're new in this industry, I would highly recommend they do exactly what you said and explore other avenues in the company if you really enjoy the company. Because if you're 22 and you're 24 and you know for 100% fact that you want to be in marketing, you're not open. You shouldn't. Now,
Yeah.
you could decide at the end of the day, nope, I've done it a long time. I love it. But young people at that age, you should all be about absorbing everything you can to figure out what the path that's right for you is. And it might not be marketing.
Yeah. The
It
very
might
best
not be, it
lessons
could
I
be in
learned,
sales.
right?
Yeah. I
I
mean,
spent time in as a sales engineer and actually
mhm,
as an account exec for like two enterprise software
yeah,
companies. I carried a bag with a quota. And like that informs how I work with marketing and the marketing stuff I write every day. Right.
every
It was
day.
a great education, that ultimately someone has to decide to do something. And it's my job in sales or marketing to like help make that happen. And if I'd
Yep.
only ever worked in marketing, I would not have the same outlook.
Well, and you asked me earlier, and I know I'm not supposed to say that, but I'll repeat what the question was about how I worked with marketing teams and what would be different in a year.
Mm,
And I think one of the things that I personally love to do with marketing team members is, especially when they're young, is ensure that this is the right path for them.
yeah.
Because if it's not the right path for them, I want to develop them as individuals as well. And if they say, I'm passionate about this XYZ thing, and I say, have you ever thought about this? You should go do a little bit more research. You're doing a great job here at the company, but if you're not truly passionate about it, you're not helping yourself, you're not
Yeah.
helping the organization. How can I help you fulfill your own personal goals? Because at the end of the day, that's going to help the company, because I'm going to replace that person with somebody who
Yeah.
really wants to be there.
Yeah. But if they happen to be like super interested in statistics,
Yeah.
right? And there's a place for that in marketing, but they could just as easily go to sales or finance or
Or
engineering.
they just exactly, or they love having
Oh,
conversations with people and figuring out how to
yeah.
put together packages and sell them. Like, you should go into business development and sales.
Yeah. All right. So Abby,
Yes.
these days, who should be contacting you and how should they get to you?
Okay, great question. The people who should be contacting me are small to medium sized businesses with a compelling story to tell. If you feel as though your story isn't getting out there, you don't know how to tell it, you have a great vision for your organization, you have a great mission, you have all these things, but you just don't know how to bundle it up and get it out to the world, contact me and I'll help you do it. I do work with nonprofits quite a bit. About half my
Oh,
clients are nonprofits. I will say well-funded nonprofits, but I do work with nonprofits and I love doing that. I have a big history in nonprofit work. If you are a company that's willing to invest in your growth and you're open, and you're open to kind of the idea of fractional CMO, but you're not sure if you need a full fractional CMO, contact me, because I personally offer a whole slew of different, I hate to say packages, but they kind of are packages where
sure.
you can kind of get your feet wet without diving in full force to see if this is the right thing for you. And I am not a person who says, if you're not going to work with me 6 to 12 months in a row, we're not working together. I'm all about, listen, let's get together for 2 days and we'll figure out if this is the right thing for you and how I can possibly engage with you. And I think that's a critical difference to some of the other fractional CMOs is they want to jump into the big engagement. And me, I want to work with clients who don't know where to start, and I can help them figure out where to start. We just spend a couple of days together or a month or something like that. And if you love branding and creative and design and all that stuff, that's my background. Contact me. Love doing those things. And we'll definitely speak it out. LinkedIn, Abigail Mundell is my LinkedIn handle. Email is abby@abigailmundell.com. But a great place to learn more about myself and my background is my website, which is abigailmundell.com. Made it very easy for everyone to find me. I go by Abby, but everything is Abigail Mundell with 2 L's.
Fair enough. All right, that's it. Thanks so much for being here. This has been great.
Thanks,
This is a
Dean.
lot of fun.
Thanks a
It's
lot.
I love the episodes with two guests, and I love the episodes with one guest. They just have a
Yeah.
different feel for me, I think. Yeah.
I had a lot of fun. I didn't know I'd be the only one here today, but I enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
it was great. Thanks.
All right. Thanks.